The wind howled outside the Arctic Research Station. Snow covered everything. The sky was dark. Inside the base, red emergency lights blinked. Computers had stopped working. No signal. No power. Just silence. Dr. Kira Mendel stood alone in the command room. The others were gone, disappeared. 10 scientists, all missing. She stared at the last words scratched into the steel wall with trembling hands. They know we're here. Then the lights died completely. 5 days earlier, NASA. Listening post, Nevada was just another quiet night. Miles of desert stretched outside. Inside, scientists watched screens filled with data from satellites and deep space antennas. Then something changed. A strange sound came through the speakers. It was not static. It was a pattern. Beep beep, beep. Lee, a young scientist, Jay, turned to his supervisor. Sir, I think we're receiving a signal. The message repeated every 12 seconds. Then words formed in binary code. Primitive status. Under observation, they ran the data again. It wasn't from Earth. It came from just beyond the moon. Scene. Emergency meeting, United Nations, New York. Within 24 hours, world leaders met behind closed doors. A US general stood at the head of the table. The signal is not natural. It was sent from a ship hiding in the moon's shadow. We have no visual, but this signal caused panic at the highest levels. Within 12 hours, an emergency meeting was called at the United Nations in Geneva. Every major world leader was present: America, China, Russia, Europe, even rival nations. The message was clear. Someone or something was watching Earth, and they didn't think much of humans. Inside the glass conference hall, the US president leaned forward. Let me say it plainly, he said. We've just been called primitive by an unknown intelligence. This isn't a test. It's a warning. The Chinese premier nodded slowly. They are close. The signal is not from deep space. It's from our moon's orbit. A silence filled the room. Then the head of the European Space Agency stood. We lost communication with one of our satellites just before the signal appeared. Someone whispered, they're already here. Scene. The Arctic disappearance at the same time. Far away in the frozen north, the Arctic Research Base Alpha went silent. No alarms. No messages. Nothing. A rescue team was sent immediately. It arrived 14 hours later. What they found shocked them. No bodies, no damage. All 10 scientists were missing, as if they had simply vanished. The only thing left behind was the message. Dr. Kira Mendel had written with her last strength, they know we're here. The message was carved into a metal wall using a scalpel. There were no signs of struggle, no blood. Just silence. And one more strange thing. Every hard drive, every recording device, every piece of digital data was wiped clean. Scene. Global panic leaked within 24 hours. People across the world began to panic. Some thought aliens were coming. Others believed it was a government hoax. But the truth couldn't be hidden for long. More satellites went dark. Military radars began showing strange shadow shapes, too large to be planes, but too slow to be meteors. Still, no official enemy. Then, a low-frequency sound started to play across old radio towers. It wasn't meant for humans. It sounded like a whisper. Observe. Do not engage. The species is unaware. Panic turned to fear. Scene. Hidden files. Area 53, somewhere deep beneath a desert mountain. Inside a facility more secret than Area 51. General Marcus Hall was reading something no one else had seen in 300 years. It was called Project Zatanine, Earth Defense Protocols. The files were old, ancient, even older than any known human civilization. But they weren't written in a human language. They were written in code coded only in 2031 by accident during a Mars probe analysis. The files spoke of something called the Ninth Fleet, a protective force. But there was a problem. Earth had no record of building this fleet. And the more General Hall read, the more his hands began to shake. The fleet wasn't made by humans. It was left for them. Scene. The moon's dark. Sidan automated. Telescope in Chile suddenly picked up movement near the moon. Something large, hidden in the shadows. It didn't reflect sunlight. It moved slowly. Too perfect. Too deliberate. NASA confirmed it within an hour. A massive object, at least the size of a city, was orbiting on the far side of the moon. When they aimed lasers and tried radar, there was no return signal. Then, moved. Not toward Earth but around it, like it was scanning. Then, the second message came. Not in code, in English. In English, every screen on Earth phones, TVs, airport monitors, even billboards suddenly turned black. Words appeared in white text. You are not alone. You are not ready. You are being observed. And then it ended. Scene. The scientist who knew DR, Elise Navarro, was one of the few people who had read the full version of the Zeta protocols. She worked in a deep vault beneath the European Space Agency where old alien artifacts were kept, most believed to be fakes. But now, she wasn't so sure. She opened an old box. Inside was a strange black cube. It had no buttons, no screens. It began to hum and glow as if something inside it had just woken up. On its side were glowing symbols that slowly rearranged into English 9th Fleet beacon status. Standby. Awaiting activation. Scene global. Response: governments rush to build defenses. Missiles were moved. Space agencies collaborated. Military satellites were redirected. But deep inside, they all knew they were not ready. The world had spent decades fighting each other. Now they had to unite. Full secret programs were restarted. Robotics. Labs worked 24 hours a day, but none of it would be fast enough. Then, a strange thing happened. A farmer in Argentina recorded a video. His cow was floating in midair, glowing blue, then gently placed back down. He uploaded the video. It went viral in seconds. Similar videos began appearing from India, Kenya, Alaska, Japan. All showed the same blue light, the same silent observers. They were testing humanity, studying it, and someone, somewhere, was keeping score. Scene. The countdown begins 3 days after the first signal. Another message appeared. It came through every satellite, still working in red letters. T72. Hours until evaluation. No one knew what the evaluation meant. Was it invasion, judgment, or worse? General Marcus Hall knew only one thing. The files under Projects 8 to 9 mentioned this exact event. The title of the page was simple: Return of the Watchers. The description was even shorter. If contact occurs before the 9th Fleet arrives, Earth will be lost. A whisper from the past. Elise Navarro activated the black cube. It rose into the air. Light swirled, then a voice spoke, deep, old, and not human. If you hear this, then Earth has been found again. The galaxy watches, but the fleet has not yet returned. You must prepare. The children of Earth were never meant to be primitive. You were meant to awaken. The cube dimmed. Dr. Navarro sat in silence. Somewhere, in a forgotten corner of Earth or space, the 9th Fleet was still out there, and Earth had 72 hours left. It started just before dawn. In 3 different places on Earth: New York, Beijing, and Nairobi. Something appeared in the sky. They looked like stars at first, but they were too low, too silent, too still. Then, with no sound, the air shimmered. Massive alien ships uncloaked and hovered above each city, black and silver, smooth like stone. They didn't move, they didn't speak. People ran into the streets, cars stopped, phones went crazy. Some pointed, some screamed, others dropped to their knees and prayed. It was real. First contact had begun. Seen. The voice in every mind. At exactly 7 a.m. GMT, everyone on Earth, every human being heard a voice, but it didn't come from a speaker. It was inside their heads. It was deep, cold, and in perfect English, Urdu, Swahili, Chinese. Every person heard it in their own language. You are not advanced. You are not civilized. You are not prepared. You are primitive. You will be observed. Be erased. Then silence. People clutched their heads. Some screamed. Others fainted. Many cried. World leaders tried to speak on the news, but the fear was already spreading faster than any message could stop. Seeing the global standstill across the planet, military jets flew toward the alien ships. But the ships didn't respond. They didn't move, they didn't fight, they just hovered. When jets got too close, their engines shut down mid-air. Planes fell from the sky, but somehow, they didn't crash. They landed softly on rooftops and open fields, as if guided by invisible hands. This was not an attack, it was a demonstration. Seen strange reactions in humans in the hours after the voice. Doctors in several countries reported something strange. Some people were not affected by the alien message. They didn't faint, they didn't panic. Instead, they stood perfectly still, and then began to speak in languages they never learned. In Pakistan, a 12-year-old girl whispered in perfect ancient Sumerian. In Brazil, a farmer wrote symbols into the dirt, symbols that matched markings found on the moon's dark side. These people became known as echo carriers. They remembered things no human should. Seen. A hidden fear inside one of the alien ships. A being watched Earth through a glowing screen. Tall, pale blue skin, long fingers, no mouth. It spoke without sound to others like it. The echoes are active. The memory is returning. Another replied, emotionless. We must act before the 9th Fleet arrives. A third one, older, more cautious. No. If we destroy them now, the signal may awaken the fleet. Observation continues. No interference. They stared at Earth, afraid, not of what humans were, but of what humans might become. Scene: underground resistance in an old NATO bunker in Germany. General Marcus Hall met with secret leaders. Only a few people knew what was really going on. He pointed to the ancient documents. Project Saturnin. This was not our first contact, he said. Earth was part of something much bigger, but we forgot. They made us forget. He turned on a screen. A map appeared, showing the 3 alien ships above the cities. We believe these ships are scouts. They are looking for something, or someone. Dr. Elise Navarro stood beside him. She held the black cube from part 1. They're afraid of the Ninth Fleet, and we need to find a way to call it back. Seen the first Defiance in Nairobi, a street artist named Mosey walked directly under the alien ship. He felt the fear in his bones, but something deeper inside him pushed him forward. He pulled out a can of red spray paint and wrote a word on the street in giant letters. Remember. At that moment, his eyes turned silver. He collapsed, but when medics tried to help, he spoke. They are not gods. They are thieves. They took our sky. The fleet will return. You must awaken it. Then he fell unconscious. Scene: signals. In the noise, ESA, and China's space agencies worked day and night, scanning for signals. One night, a small, hidden radio dish in Alaska picked up a strange repeating pattern. A female scientist translated it. Her face went pale. It said, "Fleet signal detected, dormant, coordinates, classified, awaiting protocol." She whispered to her partner, "It's here. Something is here." Scene: the alien ships shift in day 3. The alien ships finally moved. They descended lower, closer to rooftops. They began scanning people on the streets with beams of soft light. Children, old people, soldiers, teachers. Some screamed, some passed out, others had no reaction at all. But when they scanned a young boy in New York, their ship froze. The beam turned, red dot, then suddenly the ship backed away. The boy, named Eli, said he saw something in his head during the scan. He saw stars, battles, and a crest glowing like fire, the emblem of the Ninth Fleet. Seen: a decision made inside the alien mothership. The lead watcher turned to the others. Too many are awakening. If the signal spreads, the fleet will come. We must prepare to neutralize this planet. Closing scene: a sky that burns that night. Over the Pacific Ocean, cameras caught a strange light in the sky. Not a star, not a ship, but a trail like fire moving fast from deep space toward Earth. Astronomers couldn't track it. Then a final signal blinked on a private satellite. 2 words only. Fleet en route. Earth was no longer alone. The object from deep space was getting closer. It moved too fast to be natural, but too smooth to be a weapon. Satellites tracked it. Telescopes zoomed in. It wasn't just a signal, it was a ship. Old, massive, glowing with gold and blue energy. Unlike the Watcher's cold, black ships, this one felt alive. As it entered Earth's atmosphere, the clouds parted. A great rumble echoed through the sky, not from thunder, but from something ancient waking up. People across the world stopped and stared. It looked like a burning sword falling from the stars. Then, just as it reached the ocean, it vanished into the deep without a splash. Scene: the children who remembered after the arrival of the flame ship. Thousands of children began to dream the same thing. Stars, battlefields, silver towers above glowing Earth-like planets, strange armor, a voice repeating in their minds, "You are not primitive, you are broken, but you will rise." In a small school in Lahore, a 10-year-old girl drew a picture with crayons. It showed a man in golden armor standing between Earth and 3 black ships. Under the drawing, she wrote one sentence in neat Urdu: "Ninth Fleet will protect us when we remember who we are." Scene: the secret buried in Antarctica. Elisa Navarro, following new coordinates from the Black Cube, flew with a joint UN team to a deep, frozen part of Antarctica beneath the ice. They discovered something massive, a gate covered in alien symbols. Dormant. The ice around it had never melted even during past climate shifts. But now, as Elise approached with the cube in her hand, the ice cracked and hissed. The gate opened. Inside, they found a chamber. Floating in the air was a glowing silver sphere. The moment Elise touched it, she saw everything. The fall of the old Earth civilization, the war with the Watchers, the retreat of the Ninth Fleet, and the promise to return when Earth was ready. Scene: the Watchers panic on their ships. The Watchers felt something they weren't supposed to feel. Fear. One of their commanders stared at Earth and spoke to his kind. "The gate has opened. The fleet is near. We are running out of time." They turned their attention toward the gate in Antarctica. 3 beams of dark light launched from the Watcher's ships, fast, burning, silent, but before they could strike, the ocean near Antarctica exploded upward, and the golden ship from space rose out of the water. It intercepted all 3 beams, no sound, just blinding light, and when the light faded, the alien attacks were gone, erased. The golden ship hovered over the ice, silent, watching, waiting, seen. The message of the release brought the silver sphere to Geneva, inside the United Nations. It projected an image in mid-air. A face appeared, not human, but close, tall, with bright eyes, skin of starlight. It spoke in a calm voice. Earth is not primitive. Earth is wounded. You were once guardians of the path. The Watchers made you forget, but not all was lost. The Ninth Fleet sleeps in the stars, but its captains are reborn among you. If you are worthy, you may awaken them. And then it projected. A map points across Earth where old technologies, hidden for thousands of years, still waited. Seen. The rebellion begins inspired by the sphere. People across the world began forming secret resistance groups. They didn't fight with guns, not yet. They searched the map. They looked for artifacts, hidden labs, lost cities. In Egypt, a team uncovered a pyramid chamber never seen before with metal doors that opened only to human DNA. In Mongolia, shepherds found ancient armor buried in a mountain. In Mexico, an old underground tunnel held a throne made of crystal, and when a teenager sat on it, it lit up with symbols of the fleet. The world was waking up and the Watchers were losing control. Seen. A warning from the fleet. The golden ship above Antarctica sent a signal just once. It echoed through deep space, through every radio tower, on Earth, even through time itself. The message was short. This planet is under Watcher surveillance. Prepare for fleet arrival. The Watchers heard it, and they knew judgment was coming. Seen. The countdown resumes. The red warning returned on every Earth screen, but the message had changed before. It said, T72 hours until evaluation. Now, it said, T48 hours until decision. What had changed? Earth had begun to awaken. Seen. The Watcher ultimatum on day 4. The Watchers finally spoke directly to Earth. On every screen, their leader appeared not with a face, but with a hollow shape of glowing eyes and shadow. You were given time. You are still primitive. Surrender your artifacts, cease the awakening, or be reset. For the first time in history, every human nation sent the same answer, no. Closing scene. One more sparking. Tokyo. A blind boy touched a stone from the Antarctic gate. His eyes turned gold. He whispered in an ancient voice, I remember. Behind him, lights in the sky began to move, small dots, far away, growing brighter every second, and far across the galaxy, something massive stirred from deep sleep. The Ninth Fleet was no longer dormant. At 2:37 a.m. GMT, radar stations across Earth picked up an unknown object entering the solar system. It was fast, controlled, unlike anything the Watchers had sent. Astronomers zoomed in. It wasn't a meteor, it was a ship, sleek, sharp and gold, shaped like a sword and glowing like fire. The moment it crossed into Earth's orbit, the 3 Watcher ships above Earth froze. No movement, no scans. And then they retreated, not fast, not far, but they began pulling back away from cities, away from the planet. Because they knew what that ship was, and what it meant. The Ninth Fleet had returned. Seen. Memories in the blood all across Earth. Strange things began happening to ordinary people. A fisherman in Iceland walked into the sea, and whispered commands in a language older than history. A boy in Lagos touched a rock and saw a map of stars inside his mind. A woman in Lahore dreamed of a war in the sky and woke up screaming the name, Commander Sarai of the Ninth. Doctors called it mass memory episodes, but General Marcus Hall knew the truth. These were not hallucinations, they were awakening. Some humans carried old blood fragments of the soldiers who once fought with the Ninth Fleet. Now their memories were returning. Seen. Earth's first response in Geneva. World leaders gathered again. The golden ship hovered over the Swiss Alps. Its light fell over the mountains like a second sun. From it, a single figure descended, not alien, not fully human. She wore armor like fire and eyes like twin suns. She did not speak with her mouth. She spoke into their minds. Earth is under fleet protection. The Watchers are not your gods. Your ancestors fought beside us. They died to protect this world. You must decide now, hide and forget, or rise and remember. Elise Navarro stepped forward, held out the sphere. We choose to remember. The armored woman nodded. Then I will summon the rest. She vanished in a flash of gold. Seen. The Council of the Watchers in the cold void behind Mars. The Watchers gathered. Not just 3.hundreds. Ships shaped like bones. Cold, hollow, quiet. Their leader appeared not a body, but a swirl of black, smoke and light. The Ninth Fleet was erased. This should not be happening. Earth must not rise. Send the purge units. And then, the sky grew darker. Earth was no longer dealing with observers, it was now facing a silent invasion. Scene. The resistance awakens in cities, villages, caves, and ruins. Ordinary people began transforming. Some grew stronger, faster. Others unlocked visions of ancient technology hidden under mountains or oceans. A girl in South Korea activated an ancient fighter ship hidden inside a volcano. In Morocco, a team found a crystal blade that only sang when held by a child. In Peru, the stones of Machu Picchu began to glow when the map was placed on the temple floor. And in Pakistan, the gate in Antarctica began to hum. Scene. The fleet arrives then. It happened at once. 9 ships appeared in orbit. Each was larger than a city. Each bore the crest of the Ninth Fleet. They didn't attack. They simply held position, like ancient guardians taking their posts again. But the moment they arrived, Earth's gravity trembled, the stars in the sky pulsed, and deep underground, something buried beneath Africa, something alive opened its eyes. Scene. The forgotten captain in a secret desert bunker. General Hall and Elise brought the sphere to its final destination, a sealed pod from Project Zeta-9. It was older than anything on Earth. They opened it. Inside was a human. Still alive, frozen for thousands of years. He opened his eyes and whispered, "How long have I slept?" They stared in shock. Elise whispered, Who are you?" The man stood, eyes glowing with fire. "I am Captain Soren of the Ninth Fleet, and this world is my home." Scene. The final warning. The Watchers sent one last message. Across every device, one sentence appeared. Surrender, Earth, or be erased. But this time, Earth didn't panic. This time, Earth had allies. From space, the Ninth Fleet sent their answer. You took their minds. You broke their world, but you never broke their spirit. We are back, and we remember everything. Closing scene. The war begins. The stars above Earth lit up with hundreds of red lights. Enemy ships approaching fast. On the ground, fleet's captains stood beside awakened humans. Old allies, new warriors, one planet, one last stand. And as the first battleship entered the atmosphere, the sky turned gold. The war for Earth had begun. It began at midnight. 1,000 red lights blinked into the sky above Earthwatcher warships. Coming fast, people across the world looked up. Some cried, some prayed, but many stood still, unafraid, because the Ninth Fleet was already in position. 9 golden ships moved between Earth and the oncoming storm. High above the clouds, the stars went dark, and then war broke open. Seeing the first strike, the Watchers fired first beams of black energy, silent and deadly, but the golden ships responded instantly, raising shimmering energy shields that pulsed like lightning. The sky turned red, blue, gold. It was not just a battle, it was a war between ancient powers, one side cold and machine-like, the other bright and burning with memory, and in the middle was Earth. Scene. The Earth's defense awakens on the ground. Hidden fleet tech began to activate across the globe. Old satellite cannons, buried defense stations, and underground launch pads from the forgotten days. In Pakistan, a boy named Azan climbed into a control chair hidden in a cave beneath the Karakoram Mountains. As soon as he touched the panel, it lit up in gold. Fleet Node 7 activated. He didn't know how he understood the system, but something inside him remembered. From the mountain, a pulse fired upward, destroying a Watcher drone before it reached Islamabad. Azan smiled. "I remember now." Scene. Elise and Soren on the front line. Captain Soren, now fully awake, stood aboard the flagship Aurelius, commanding the Ninth Fleet with Dr. Elise Navarro at his side. "Status?" he asked. Elise replied, "Fleet shields holding, Earth awakening, but the Watchers are deploying their largest ship." Soren narrowed his eyes. "The Reaper class. They're desperate." A dark figure appeared on their screen. "The Watcher commander, made of smoke and light. This world is not yours. We marked it long ago." Soren replied, calm and cold, "You marked it, but you never earned it. Now, we take it back." Scene. The forgotten weapon under Earth, deep beneath the Sahara Desert. An ancient weapon. Stirred one even the Ninth Fleet thought was lost. It was not a ship, not a gun. It was a being, part machine, part spirit, once created to defend Earth's skies. Its name was SCIFI. And when the last Earth node activated, Seraphon rose, a golden titan taller than skyscrapers, walked out of the sand and launched into the sky. The people of Africa watched in silence and awe. The ground shook, the stars flared. The old guardian had returned. Seeing the battle turns, watchers began losing ground. One of their ships was destroyed over Canada. Another fell into the Atlantic. But the Reaper-class warship was still coming. It dwarfed everything else. A city-sized monster of metal and shadow. Its cannon charged, aiming not for the fleet but for Earth itself. If it fired, millions would died out. The Ninth Fleet couldn't stop it in time, but Earth could. Seen. Humanity's first counterattack in Brazil. An old temple rose from the jungle. On its roof sat a glowing crystalline ancient targeting core. A teenage girl, Sophia, stood at its center. Her eyes glowed. She wasn't military. She wasn't trained, but she was ready. The targeting core, linked with Earth's defense, satellite systems that hadn't worked for centuries. Now they were awake. Sophia gave the command. Fire up. Blinding beam erupted from orbit, striking the Reaper-class ship directly in the center. It didn't destroy it, but it slowed it down. That was enough. Scene. Soren's final move with the Reaper-class weakened. Captain Soren launched a last desperate attack. The Aurelius flew straight at the massive enemy ship. Elise begged him to wait, but Soren had already made his choice. This world is worth one more sacrifice. The golden flagship collided with the Reaper head-on. A white flash swallowed the sky. Then, silenced, the Reaper ship began to break apart. It fell in pieces, burning into the ocean. Scene. Aftermath. The battle lasted 8 hours. By dawn, the sky was clear. The watchers were gone. What remained of them retreated into deep space. But so was Soren. His ship, his light, gone with the enemy. People stood in the streets, no celebration, just silence. And then someone whispered, "We're still here." Scene. The new oath in Geneva. World leaders, resistance fighters, and survivors gathered. Dr. Elise Navarro stood at the podium. Behind her, the silver sphere floated, still glowing. Captain Soren is gone, but Earth remains. We are not primitive, we are not forgotten, we are protectors, and this is our home. The crowd raised their fists. From the crowd, a child stepped forward, one of the awakened, and whispered the new oath. "We remember." Closing scene. A silent warning high above Earth. Among the stars, the shattered pieces of the Reaper ship floated. But inside one fragment, a watcher eye blinked. And it sent a whisper across the galaxy. Earth is no longer sleeping. Far away, something heard, and something far worse than the watchers began to stir. 3 weeks after the watchers' defeat, Earth was rebuilding. People called it the Golden Dawn. The skies were clear. The golden ships of the Ninth Fleet still hovered above Earth, watching, protecting. But something strange happened. A sick and cold was detected from beyond the solar system. Not watcher code, not fleet code. Something older, darker, buried in frequencies Earth had never heard before. Elise Navarro listened to it for hours. It didn't speak words, it whispered nightmares. Scene. A message from the Void Fleet. AI systems tried to decode the message. They failed. It wasn't just data was alive. Every time they translated a part of it, the machines crashed or shut down. Finally, one of the awakened, an autistic boy named Navade in Karachi, heard the signal and wrote something on the wall. "The deep ones have heard your voice." The writing glowed. And vanished. That night, Navade vanished. Scene. The sphere turns black. The silver sphere gift of the Ninth Fleet began to dim. Then it turned black. The next time Elise tried to activate it, a strange voice came from within. "He is coming. He does not watch. He devours." The screen showed a star map, a black hole. Then something moving inside that hole. Elise froze. Soren was gone. The fleet was still recovering, and now a new threat was coming. Something even the watchers feared. Scene. The fleet begins to fracture without Soren. Command of the Ninth Fleet fell to 3 surviving captains. They did not agree on what to do. One wanted to prepare Earth for war. One wanted to flee and hide the planet behind a cosmic barrier. And the third captain Roll believed Earth should be left to fight on its own. "This is not our world anymore," he said. "The humans must decide." Arguments turned into standoffs. Fleet unity began to crack. Ellie stood before them and said, "If Earth stands alone, it falls. If we stand divided, we all fall." Scene. Strange dreams across the globe. Across Earth, thousands of people had the same dream. An endless ocean of stars. A mouth with no face. A hunger so vast it swallowed galaxies. They saw a name, Nullus, and they heard one sentence repeated. "Woke up, now you will be eaten." Scientists couldn't explain it. Fleet AI refused to store it, and the awakened children whispered, The real enemy is not here yet. Scene: a hidden base on the moon. A strange energy spike was detected on the far side of the moon. Elise, along with a mixed team of humans and fleet scouts, launched a secret mission. There, under ancient lunar dust, they discovered a ruined base, older than the Watchers, older than the fleet. Inside were frozen beings, not human, not alien, but something else, half-organic, half darkness. One of them opened its eyes and whispered, "We warned the Watchers not to come here. You broke the seal, now the Eater will return." Then it melted into black smoke. Scene: Seraphon falls back on Earth. The great golden titan Seraphon, Earth's ancient protector, suddenly shut down. No warning, no attack, just silence. Its heart crystal cracked, and inside it, glowing like blood, were strange black veins crawling through the structure. Someone had infected it, not from outside, from within. Scene: the corruption spreads. Fleet ships began to report strange malfunctions. Weapons misfired, navigation maps shifted, and in one ship, the crew turned on each other, screaming that Earth was lying to them. Only one word kept appearing in their logs: NULLUS. Even dead. The name spread, even whispered. It infected. Scene: Earth's first shadow fallen. The Indian Ocean. A research ship disappeared, then another, then a third. When drones searched the area, they found a floating mass, not metal, not bone, something in between. It pulsed with black light, and then it moved, not like a ship, like a living thing, like a parasite. Closing scene: the black sun rises above Earth. The stars shifted. Fleet sensors detected an incoming object from deep space, but it wasn't fast. It was slow, like something waiting to be noticed. As it passed Jupiter, it absorbed one of its moons without sound, without light, just gone. The object's form became clear, a shape, like a star, with teeth. It had no crew, no signal, just hunger, and a single message echoed across every planet, every station, every soul. I am the end of remembering. I am notless, and I am here. The object moved slowly, but every second, it grew larger in the sky. It wasn't a moon, it wasn't a ship, it was NULLUS, the Eater. It had no engines, no crew, no heat, but wherever it passed, stars dimmed, light vanished, and memory itself began to disappear. People forgot who they were. Entire cities stood still, silent, lost in time. As Nullus came closer, Earth began to forget itself. Scene: the fleet breaks. The Ninth Fleet tried to fight, but their systems failed. Ships turned black. Pilots forgot their names mid-battle. Even Captain Roll, proud and cold, collapsed as empty, whispering, "What is a planet? What is a war?" The fleet was losing not just the battle, but their minds. Only one person remained clear-headed: Elise Navarro. She held the black sphere in her hands. It pulsed. A soft voice whispered, "You must open the gate. Only the first light can stop the final dark." Scene: the gate reawakens in Antarctica. The ancient gate, half buried in ice, began to glow. Its rings turned slowly, powered by memories locked inside Earth's core. Elise, along with a group of awakened children, stood before it. They didn't remember where they were born, but they remembered the code. In a single voice, they spoke the phrase passed down for generations: "Where light fell, we rise." The gate opened, not like a door, more like a tear in space, showing something beyond. A star, but not a star. Living memory, a golden pulse. Scene: Soren's returned from that tear. Something came through, a golden shape, a figure of light. Captain Soren, but not as he was. His body was gone. His mind lived within the memory stream, a soul carried in pure data. He spoke to Elise. "I died fighting, but I rose remembering. Nullus is not a creature, it's a whole made of hunger, and the only thing it cannot eat is truth." Scene: humanity's last weapon, Soren explained. Long ago, Earth's ancient defenders built a weapon not of metal, but of memory. A living archive, a machine powered by the shared will of a world that refuses to forget itself. It was buried beneath the Amazon now. It began to rise, a shape made of stone, light, voice, and human will. It was called the Rememberer, and it needed one final voice to activate. Elise stepped forward. Scene: the speech to the world across every screen, device, and satellite. Elise's voice echoed, "We are not just humans. We are every ancestor who bled for freedom. We are every child who dared to dream. We are not primitive. We are not broken. We remember." Billions heard her, and for 1 second, everyone remembered who they were. Was enough. Scene: the final clash. The Rememberer launched into space, glowing like a second sun. It met Nullus just outside Earth's orbit. No guns, no bombs. Just memory against emptiness, light against silence. The collision was blinding. A golden wave spread across the solar system. The stars returned. People blinked and remembered their names, their families, their lives. Nullus had vanished. Not destroyed, just sealed, locked in a prison made from the strongest force in the universe. Human memory, seen in new Earth weeks past. The fleet remained, now united again, its command, rebuilt under Soren's guidance from within the memory stream. Earth was not the same. Some cities had changed. Some people now carried ancient memories, warriors, scientists, star navigators. But Earth had earned its place, not as a broken world, but as a home of protectors. The new era had begun. Final scene, a message to the stars. A small probe launched from Earth, carrying a new signal. It said only this: to all who hear this, we are Earth. We are awake. We are not what you thought. We were called primitive. That was your first mistake. We are the children of memory, and we are watching the stars now.